It's 100.3 WRB. Mother Knows is in the building. And guess who else is in the building? Glenn Lewis, timeless
You,
voice, real R&B. First off, welcome, my friend.
hey man, appreciate you, mother, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime. It's always love when real R&B voices come back around. How does this new chapter feel for you personally and creatively?
It's exciting, man. It's to be able to create music at in any different season or any different phase of your life. There's different conversations to be had, and things that you pick up along the way, things that inspire you, and then to have the opportunity to extend that conversation with like a musical family, like fans, and sharing, sharing just where we might all, where we might be at, like certain common points that we can touch on and stuff. So just all of those elements, just it really makes it exciting. It's an exciting time.
Past tense really connected. What did that moment mean for you personally and creatively?
Um, you know, some of the some of the comments I've heard shared back at me, or just running into folks of hearing past tense. They've been like, man, it's like, it's so great to know like good music has never left. And I'm so, or the fact that I'm still doing things the way that I do things, and, things that they fell in love with my artistry for in the first place. So um, that's meant a lot, because you really never know. You kind of, as much as everybody will get out here and they'll, try and act all suave and whatever else, and oh yeah, I got it. And I understand you got to put that out there, but truth of the matter is there's a part of you that's kind of like, well, it's up to the people. The people will let you know. So, it's been an overwhelmingly positive response, and it's been a lot of love. And yeah, man, that's just, that puts the battery in my back. I just keep it going. You know what I mean? That's basically where I'm at now.
Let's talk about the new album, Overture. What story are you telling with this project and why that title?
Hmm. Well, Overture, of course, it's a movement musically, like say like in in opera, or not opera, sorry, like in orchestra. It's a movement that is basically setting you up for the next. And so I was wanting to make something where I felt like that was fitting because I the idea is that this album is intended to like say, okay, I'm back, and I don't intend to let another 20 years go by. So I just this album specifically, aside from the meaning behind the title, um I just I really just it's crazy because from top to bottom, it's all my creative choices. And I've never been in that position before. And on one side of it, it's incredibly freeing, and it's amazing to have that kind of creative freedom. On the other side, there's a lot of pressure to it too, because people are gonna be looking at you like, what were you thinking? If depending on what it is. But honestly though, I love what I'm doing, where I'm at, selecting all the music, writing the songs. Um, and I really had fun, making this. And I feel like that type of energy is a main ingredient when you're making stuff, because people feel energy. They're not necessarily caught up in the technical stuff, but people feel energy. And that's the thing that transcends time. So, I think that that's present with what I'm doing, and for future projects too, just wanting to keep the love going.
Is this your most personal body of work to date?
I would say so. I would say so because um I World Outside My Window, I wrote the majority of the project. I wrote like 10, 10 or 11 of the songs, and a couple of them I co-wrote with Marsha Ambrosius from Flowetry. Um, and each song, they were experiences, moments I had in my life. This album it's the personal nature of this album is like it's still life stuff and personal experiences, but it's also perspectives. Like I did that a little bit with World Outside My Window, with like something to see after 9/11, where it was sort of a poetic way of saying that love is the answer, and like a lot of the things that's going on, people abusing or misusing power, or some of the things that we don't see behind the scenes. They tell you one story in the news, and it's and whatever it is. But ultimately, what I was trying to get to was the idea that love transcends all of this. If we actually treat each other the way we want to be treated, I feel like there's got to be some type of. I mean, there's always going to be people that have ulterior motives, but I don't know. It's a complicated conversation to have. But all to say, like with this one, similar sort of thing. Me speaking on like different perspectives, whether it relates to relationships or how we relate to each other, or things that's kind of happening in social settings or geopolitical settings, like just different themes here and there. But definitely that personal element is present.
What do you want people to feel when they press play on Overture?
Um, I want them to experience a journey. That was always important to me from the beginning. Like there's so many albums that have inspired me, and the number one constant throughout all of them is you, from beginning to end, from the time you press play all the way through, you felt like you were being taken on a journey, experiencing a journey. And that was an important element that I wanted to have as a part of this album for people to be able to experience.
You've said this project represents growth and independence. What do you think fans will hear differently from the Glenn Lewis they first met years ago?
Um, I there's definitely a different kind of knowing. I think you know, living a little, experiencing things, life's experiences, holding up a mirror, and the right people holding me accountable for certain things. Um all of that are a part of is a part of the mixture that's created this new body of work. There's definitely not so much not a knowing it all, but just a certainty, a surety, like an understanding of, like, being able to see myself in others. And so the conversations, the tones of the conversations, and the substance of the conversation, I think is something that people will, they'll identify with and be able to see the difference.
Now you're moving independently. What's been the biggest difference this time around?
That I'm having to wear all the hats, and I just stretched in all different types of directions. And it's a lot, but it's rewarding though. I would definitely say that um there's naturally, of course, there's moments that are exciting, and it's rewarding in that I get a chance to extend the creativity in different areas. And I do enjoy learning new things as well. So it's funny to to be in the business for as long as I've been, and I'm still like, oh man, I didn't know that that's how that goes. So all of those things have made the experience just it it feels new. It kind of, even though I've been doing it a while, this is like a whole new position, perspective, point of view of extending my creativity or putting my business cap on or whatever else. So yeah, I think that those are the things that, although it's a lot, but it's greatly rewarding. It's really fun.
What's something fans don't realize about being independent in today's industry?
Um that that they don't realize. I feel like some would, but maybe most at large wouldn't, is that they're the ones with the power. They make or break artists, whether it's major or independent, but especially independent.
Mhm.
Um, so we need you. If you love what you're hearing and you love an artist, and you want them to continue to give you that feeling. They need you. They need your support. Like, and by doing so, you also you let the industry at large know, because there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the industry over the past couple decades. From labels consolidating to just them practically eating themselves, and just throwing the music out there like it's nothing. And it's like, it's people's lives. It's like people pour their heart and soul into it, and it's become less of giving people art and a personal experience, and more of a commercial transaction or something, you know. So all to say, if I think the buying audience at large, or lovers of music, if you want art to come back, if you want great music to come back, you're the one with the power.
Amen. Don't you forget it. It's still one of those records people play like it just came out yesterday. Did you know while recording it that it would become a timeless R&B classic?
No, especially for as fast as it came. That record, it took 20 minutes to write, and maybe another half hour, 40 minutes to record it. Me and Andre Harris, who, shout out to Andre. He's having some incredible success with Kalani's Folded right now, so that's awesome. Um, but yeah, I just, he was playing stuff, and he was going through, like, they had him and his production partner Vidal Davis had a really cool way of, like, how they would play parts, they'd play them themselves, but they would sample themselves and play like little snippets and cut them up. And anyway, Dre was going through sounds, and I heard the guitar that would eventually become Don't You Forget It, and he's playing it, this thing that he played. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" He was like, "What, you like that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Play it again." He said, "Well, how are you hearing it?" And then I said, "Okay." And I counted it down, and I said, "Play 3, 4, and then he started playing the sample, and he started building a track around it. I stepped out the room, and I could hear the music through the door, and I'm just sitting on a staircase writing the lyrics. And in 20 minutes, it was done. But to be here now, after so many years, and I've gotten countless emails and messages, and people that have stopped me in the street and tell me how much that record meant to them, or their daughter, or women that share, oh, when I was in university or when I was in college, how much that song meant to me, or I was having a tough time and I was trying to figure out how I was gonna make it to next month, and that song really held me together. I've had people tell me that they were considering suicide, and how
Mm.
that song touched them. So just praise God that that a moment like that I could be a part of, and impact these women's lives, to or just people in general, in that positive and impactful of a way.
Same with It's Not Fair, another fave of mine. That song still hits emotionally. What headspace were you in creatively when you made that record?
It was wanting to just get it out, because it was pretty close to home, what I was talking about. A situation where uh we were pretty young, but because you're young and inexperienced, it's just it hits you. You're not ready for the girlfriend that's messing with your best friend, kind of thing. And so yeah, I just when once again, Dre sitting by
Dre
the
and
piano, playing at the piano, and I was like, oh, and I was like, can't believe heart of my world. Got me on my knees, praying my eyes are lying to me. Like, it just sounded like this kind of Donny Hathaway type thing. So I was like, oh, and Donnie's like one of my heroes. So yeah, it just rolled out, man. And yeah, and here we are.
Out of all your classic songs, which one connects with you the most today?
Hmm. As crazy as this is sound, I'm so thankful that I'm on this side of the fence. I actually enjoy singing Don't You Forget It. I've never grown tired of singing that song. It's something about it. It's just climactic moments and how it builds, and it's just fun to sing. So I would say, of any song, probably that one. I mean, Fall Again's pretty close second. And then there's, like, there's like the underground type stuff, like, for like true Glenn Lewis fans, like Storm and stuff like that. I always enjoy performing that record as well. But Don't You Forget is probably top of the list.
Your vocals have always drawn comparisons to Stevie Wonder. When did you first start hearing that comparison?
High school. I
Mm.
so there's a whole story behind it, but basically there was a talent show at my school, and I was like, oh, I'm a and of course I had my little nefarious scheme. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get all the girls and I'm gonna get all of them, because I was pretty obviously confident in my abilities, so I was like, oh man, yeah, I just got to pick the right record, and I was having trouble finding like instrumentals to sing to, whatever else, with background vocals specifically. And I found Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You. So I was like, I could do that. So, I'm on stage and I'm singing and I'm like, yeah, as I'm gonna kill this thing. I'm definitely winning. And I messed up. I forget what line it was, but I forgot the lyric at one point. I went, oh, on the mic, and everybody laughed. And I was like, oh, I messed it up. Anyway, I walk off after I was done. And I had like some kids and teachers coming up like, we didn't understand why you were on stage. I was like, what you mean? They were like, we thought you were lip syncing until you said oops. So
Wow.
yeah, that was like one of the first times where it was pretty evident where I was like, oh wow, you guys felt I sounded that close. And so yeah, so and pretty much throughout my life, it's like his music practically fathered me, man. Like Stevie, it's not even something. It's funny. I've had these conversations too, where it's like it's not something I try to do. It's the register of my voice and tonally kind of the tones that I go to.
Who is Glenn Lewis? Who is Glenn Lewis listening to today?
Hmm. Man, there's a lot of dope artists, man. Like, I'd say that the top is like D'Angelo, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Frank Ocean still. I still love Nostalgia Ultra and Channel Orange. There's a couple songs off of Blonde, but the first two, um, Lucky, Lucky Day, especially those EPs he first released, like Misunderstood and Floods, crazy. D Mile, absolute monster. Da, 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 da.
What about the ladies?
About it. Oh, well, Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan, homegrown. And Jasmine is absolute monster. I mean, everyone knows it, but just she's like, yeah. It's just if folks don't already know, like she's yeah. Her dun, 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 dun. Yeah, those probably the main like go-tos. Those probably the main ones.
Before I let you go, what do you want longtime fans and new listeners to take away from Overture and this next phase of Glenn Lewis?
Uh, what I want them to take away. I really did this funny enough. I had to get to a point, and there's a story behind this, but we can save that for another day. But really getting to a point of like, I really had to let go.
Mm.
One of the things that can really like, if you're not careful, the idea of it trying to control your situation or your circumstances, you can really set yourself up for disappointment. So my why, a lot of people say like, in order to not be disappointed, you have to really know what it is you want and what your why is, how big your why is. And my why was, you know, wanting to wanting to give back. I love making music and I can always do that in my own time. But to take a moment and invest in something that was for, music lovers. And even in making this album, a lot of the inspiration behind it was what I was missing, what I'd missed, what I wanted to hear. I wanted to have fun with it. All of those things were poured into this labor of love. So the thing that I just want people to take away from is just, you know, I want them to I want them to feel as good as I felt hearing, songs in the key of life or Miseducation of Lauryn Hill or Off the Wall or whatever other great bodies of work. That's the thing that I want people to walk away from is just the love that was poured in. I wanted to embrace them. I wanted to hold them, hold their attention, and carry them through whatever it is they're going through. Because right now the world is in a crazy place.
Absolutely. Let people know where they can follow you.
You can follow me at Glenn Lewis 365 on Insta, on Twitter, on Facebook, just Glenn Lewis.
You on
Yeah,
TikTok?
I am, as a matter of fact, Glenn Lewis 365.
We found out you out here doing TikTok challenges.
I know, right? Get hitting with the little dance step the thing. Yeah.
And Overture, when can we expect it? We have a release date?
June 19th, Juneteenth. And
Oh,
you have
perfect.
that album in your hands.
Super excited for you. Been a
Thank
fan since day one. You are a solid brother, 10 toes standing down. I appreciate you. Have a lot of respect for you. When you come to Philadelphia, you already know you got to pull up.
Hey man, I got you. Absolutely. I will be I'll make sure to hit you up beforehand, let you know, and we get an opportunity to connect, man. Bust it up.
Say less, my friend. Continue success, and I'll see you soon.
All right, man.
Thank you
You
for
be good.
everything, Glenn. I appreciate you.
Oh man, absolutely.
All
All
right.
right, bless.